Hi dear viewers, welcome to Display Repair. So the question is, can you drive with a flashing check engine light? The quick answer would be no. It's best not to drive with this warning light. Why this is so, I'll try to explain in the video, so stay tuned. Display Repair. For all of our viewers that are not that much into cars, just a brief explanation about how the whole system works. All of the vital systems on your car are monitored by the car's computer through an array of various sensors. So the fuel intake, air intake, exhaust system, various electric systems, and many other parts, it all depends on what kind of car you drive, are monitored by these sensors, okay? And if anything is wrong with any of those systems, if there's any kind of change, variation, any kind of disturbance, it is registered by those sensors and sent to the car's computer. Once that problem is registered, it triggers the check engine light on the dashboard, and this way you can see that something is wrong with the engine, hence the name check engine light. The next important thing you should know is that there are two phases of the check engine light problem. The first phase is when the check engine light is on all the time, and this means in most cases that you can continue driving with caution. The problem is not that serious. And there is the other phase where the check engine light is flashing all the time, like we're explaining in this video. This usually means that you should pull over to the side of the road as soon as possible and that you should not drive the car. Depending on the car model you drive, the check engine light may also turn red instead of it flashing. If you have this option on your car, this essentially means the same thing as the flashing check engine light, and you should pull over to the side of the road as soon as possible. In the majority of the flashing check engine light cases, the reason for the problem is an engine misfire, which can be caused by various reasons. It can be a faulty ignition coil, it can be a bad spark plug, it can be a faulty fuel injector. Whatever the case is, there are two main problems when you have an engine misfire. The first one is that you put a lot of stress and load on the engine. Instead of it running smoothly, there's a lot of pressure and a load on the internal parts of the engine, which if you were to continue to drive it for a prolonged period of time may damage it. The other very important thing to know is that when you drive with a misfire for a prolonged period of time, you can damage the catalytic converter. Now, even on older cars like my Skoda, the catalytic converter is a very expensive repair, very expensive part to buy, and lots of times, especially on older cars, it's not even economically sound to change it. So when this happens, know that for a small reason, like a faulty spark plug, like a faulty ignition coil, which costs, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 euros to replace, you may damage the engine and you may damage the catalytic converter and cause yourself big problems. But dear viewers, what if you have a situation where you are stranded on the road and there is no help in sight? Thanks to Murphy's Law, things like this happen. There is no phone signal, there is no tow service available, you may be stranded on a remote road with your family, and you have no other option than to drive with the engine misfire. In that case, I would do this if I was you. Open the hood, start the engine, and listen and see what happens. If there's an engine misfire, you will see the engine shaking pretty violently, but it will work. And if you see a situation like this, and if you don't see any other weird sounds, like grinding, like knocking, those bad sounds, screeching or something like that, if you don't see any, God forbid, smoke or something like that, then in that case, I would try driving. Do this, again, only in case of an emergency. How should you drive? First of all, move to the side of the road. Drive on the side of the road. Of course, do this if it's legal in your country. If you're on the highway, drive in the stop lane. Make yourself visible. Turn on the hazard lights. Do whatever you do so that the other participants in traffic know that you're there, especially at nighttime. And drive slowly and with extreme caution. Listen to the engine. Listen if there are any changes happening. If you see anything that's strange, I would advise not to go over 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. And drive only as much as you have to. Why am I telling you this? Well, lots of people, when they notice that they can't drive the car that way, that they can shift, everything moves, everything is okay, even when they reach the next gas station or the next parking lane or something like that, where they can reach the tow service, road service, reach help and everything else, they don't want to do it. They continue driving for another, I'm making this up, for another 100 kilometers to get home to fix this on their own, so they don't have to pay a tow service, they don't have to pay a mechanic or anything else. Well, exactly in those cases is when possible damage can happen. It doesn't have to happen necessarily, but it can happen. So making those additional 100 kilometers, for instance, or 50 kilometers, may mean the difference between damaging the engine and the catalytic converter and having just a repair of a couple of dozen euros. Of course, you're going to have to pay the tow service, you're going to perhaps have to pay the mechanic, but in this case, that is cheaper than having to repair major engine damage or having to change the catalytic converter. Next, once you pull the car to the side of the road and you're safe, I would recommend, highly recommend, to make a brief inspection of the problem. So pop the hood, let the engine cool down a bit, and first of all, take a look around the engine bay. Search for things like leaks, loose connectors, loose hoses, especially pay attention to loose air hoses, air ducts, loose clamps. These can cause also misfires. And pay attention to the simple things. Here and there, if you're lucky, you may be able to spot the problem and solve it in a simple way and quickly. And you can be on your way and avoid towing and avoid the mechanic. But if you see that everything is okay in the engine bay and you don't notice any kind of anomaly, I would recommend to scan the car with an OBD scanner. And now you may ask yourself, where do I get an OBD scanner in the middle of nowhere? Who carries an OBD scanner with them all the time? Well, I'll tell you this. There are OBD scanners that consist of a small dongle that you can keep in your glove box and of an app that you download on your phone. You can connect the dongle to the OBD port on your car, you activate the app, connect the two via Bluetooth, and you have your OBD tool ready for usage. If you don't have this kind of OBD tool, and we've made a review of one of these tools, very well made, very practical. I'll leave a link so you can take a look if you're interested. If you have the chance, buy this kind of OBD tool. Very practical, very useful, and trust me, in lots of situations, it can be a lifesaver for lots of things regarding the car. Once you do the OBD scan, see what the DTC code is. With this information, you can get a pretty good picture of what's wrong with the car. And with this, you can, again, if you're lucky, maybe even solve the problem, or you will know that you have to call a tow service and either tow the car home where you can do the repair, or tow the car to a mechanic and let them do the repair. In either case, you will get the information, and if you have to drive the car to a mechanic, you'll get a pretty good idea what you're up against regarding costs and the time of repair. If you have the will and if you have at least some car knowledge, be sure to make an inspection of what's going on. Sometimes you may be able to solve the problem. One more very important thing, if you drive a more expensive car with all of these complicated electronic systems, best if you see the flashing check engine light, pull to the side of the road, stop the engine and do not continue driving. Okay, although most of these cars have fail-safe systems that will prevent you from starting the car again, so you won't be able to drive the car in any case, don't even try. And even if you manage somehow to start the engine again, don't drive it with a misfire, since if you damage any of these expensive systems, expensive parts or something like that, you're at risk of having a huge repair bill later. So dear viewers, to conclude and to resume once more, if you notice a flashing check engine light and an engine misfire, be sure to pull to the side of the road as soon as possible, stop the engine, and if you know your way around cars, make a brief inspection around the engine. But the best thing to do in this case is to call a road service, tow your car either home or to a mechanic, fix the problem, and trust me, as I mentioned, despite the fact that you'll pay a tow bill and a repair bill, oftentimes it is much cheaper than paying for some major engine damage and for a damaged catalytic converter. Dear viewers, if you are forced to drive the car, if you don't have any other option, drive as less as possible, drive with caution, drive slowly, listen to the engine, and once more, as soon as you reach a safe spot, search for help. You can make the scan as I told you and see what the problem is. Again, avoid driving the car, fix it yourself, or drive the car to a mechanic and make the repair. So viewers, that's it for this time. I hope the video helps. Please like and subscribe. It's a huge help for what we're doing. If you find the time, watch our other videos that should help you have an easier life with your car. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your time.